Welcome back to AM Northwest. Our next guest is the man behind the blockbuster book Fight Club. Now he's back with his 15th novel surrounding the mysterious disappearances of a high school's most stellar students. We welcome back the author of Shock Induction, Chuck Palahniuk. Great to see you again.
Helen,
you were just here a year ago.
Just a year ago.
Just a year ago. Crazy. Tell me about Shock Induction and where did it come from? What inspired you?
You know, I don't have kids, but my friends have kids, and right now all of their kids, including Chelsea Kane's daughter, they're all 18, they're all going to college, and they're all facing that enormous terror of in the next few years they have to get a career, get an education, live on their own, pair bond.
Yeah.
There are so many things that are such enormous pressures when you're that age. And so I wanted to present a student who is facing all of those pressures. She's a great, bright person, but then she is given this fantastic out where if she takes this high status thing that is not what she wants to do with her life, she will have security and stability and status for the rest of her life. And so the question is, what if you could have anything in the world except for the thing that you really want? You've
got a book event tonight at Powell's. And normally you do wild things at your book events. Like I remember for the last book, you because it was set in Australia, right? You had all these kangaroos. So, I mean, like look at this picture here. I mean, you go through a lot of trouble for when you want to do a book promotion. That's why. Look at this. How'd you come up with this idea in the first place? Or does someone say, I got an idea for you, dress in a kangaroo suit?
You know, have you ever been to a book event?
Yeah.
Author's event? Usually they're so boring. They're so dry. It's just read a thing and then try to get some questions, and that's it. And the people who come to my events typically have never been to an author event. So I want that event to be incredible.
Right.
They're younger people. I want them to come to more author events. And so I just started to make the events bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So that they would think that all author events
are that exciting.
Exactly.
You grew up in Washington State, like lived with your parents. I think your parents divorced, lived with your grandparents.
Yeah.
How did you end up becoming a writer? Because there were other things along the way, like you worked at Freightliner for a while, right?
I am so glad you mentioned that because I worked at Freightliner for 13 years after college. Yeah.
Yeah.
And during that time, I started studying with another local writer named Tom Spanbauer.
There's your badge, your Freightliner badge.
That's my first day, and they misspelled my name. But I studied with Tom Spanbauer, who died 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
All of Portland, all writers in Portland right now are in mourning.
Yeah.
Because Tom is gone. And Tom was the person who trained 50, maybe 100 professional writers here in Portland now. And Tom taught me minimalism. And Tom hooked me up with an agent and an editor. And Tom really launched an enormous number of Portland writers.
Yeah. You have talked about the fact that you are about editing. You'll write, and then you'll go back and edit and re-edit. That's a big part of the process, isn't it?
It's almost the entire process.
Yeah.
And thank God for our ice storm, because so much of this book got massively re-edited while I was trapped in the gorge for 10 days.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's hard for me to believe that you would write something and go, no, that's not going to work. But it's that way with all writers, I would think.
I would hope.
Yeah.
We're not seeing the first draft. We're seeing the thing that's whittled down to as few pages as possible.
Yeah. You lead workshops. You and Chelsea Kane, another, we love Chelsea, lead workshops. Is that one of the biggest things that you teach to young writers?
Oh, that's one of a million things we try to teach to young writers.
Yeah.
We've got one in November that's about authority. And really, authority is based on why should I believe you when you tell this story?
Oh.
And all the different ways that you can achieve that authority when you write.
You have always been so creative. I mentioned the book events, but even just at Halloween, you seem to go all out. Do you still do that?
Not since
Well, like, look at this Halloween outfit.
2021. We threw an enormous party in the gorge. It was the first party after the lockdown. And we brought out people in buses.
Oh, no way.
We
That's
had
great.
450 people until 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is life like for you living in the gorge? You live with your husband?
It is fantastically quiet.
Yeah.
It is, there's nothing happens. Yeah, just wind.
I mean, that's what you need as a writer, isn't it? A space where you can have quiet and calm, or
And quiet and calm and wind and sunshine, and that's
yeah.
it.
Tell me about Egg.
Egg. Egg is our 14-year-old Boston Terrier.
14.
14.
Oh, wow.
And she's still doing great.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That is Egg.
There is Egg. And Egg hangs out with you quite a bit.
Yeah. Egg hangs out, the wood stove and me and Egg and the writing. And a lot of times that is the whole day.
Yeah. When you sit down to write a book, sometimes is it one event that leads you to be inspired? I'm thinking about, you wrote Lullaby, and that was based or inspired by your father's murder.
Choke was inspired, well, Lullaby and Choke.
Okay.
But Lullaby was going to Bed Bath & Beyond down at Bridgeport Village to buy a wedding present. And I was with a friend who was a history major, and she pointed out all these different aspects of decorative art on consumer goods like bath towels.
Yeah.
And she would say, that used to be the most sacred symbol to the Byzantine culture. And now we use it on paper napkins. And she started to point out these different motifs that have been trivialized that used to hold enormous power for previous cultures. And so the idea was, what if there was such a thing that could retain its power regardless of how it was misused? And that ultimately became the novel Lullaby.
Wow.
Just from that afternoon at Bed Bath and Beyond.
That's amazing. That's amazing. We want to tell our viewers, the book again is titled Shock Induction. You're at Powell's tonight at 7 o'clock, City of Books on West Burnside. We're going to put all that information for everyone on our website at KATU.com. Chuck, always great to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Helen.
Appreciate it. All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.